What's happening, folks? Gene here, Loveless Podcast, Heroes Media Group, Sunday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Check us out. Give us a subscribe. We'd appreciate it. Hey, shots fired, a little opinion article we got here. Tournament angling influencers, a loveless scam. Now, look, in the past few years, I can't hit the broadside of a barn when it comes to my tournament results, right? And I've exhausted pretty much everything I could think of as far as a remedy is concerned. I've had countless conversations with anglers, young and old. I've tried self-help, technical changes, every single aspect of competition philosophy that, my 20 plus years of experience has afforded me. But for whatever reason, same dumpster fire results. Now, I've coached youth athletics for nearly 20 years in several activities. I've worked with kids as young as fourth grade all the way to collegiate level play through their trials and tribulations through these sports. I consider myself a well-rounded human being when it comes to education and experience. I even managed to maintain a 4.0 GPA through my associates, my bachelor's, my master's degree. I'm not the brightest bulb in the Christmas box, but I'm also not the dimmest. I tell you these things so that you can have an appreciation for the level of frustration that I've had trying to solve this riddle. But alas, nothing's coming out of it. Now, in the most recent months, however, I have started to pay attention to the success and plight of others in the same space. And lo and behold, something became very apparent to me that for some reason was hidden prior. And that is, no one actually has a clue as to why they succeed or fail in this game. Oh, sure, when things go right, they've convinced themselves, and therefore you, that they earned every last bit of this success through hard work, perseverance, work ethic, God's love, great tackle, great companies, anything else that they, feel like sharing with you. But what about the majority of the time where that doesn't help them? And they, like the rest of us, fall flat or get frustrated. When this does happen in the public view, they take this on their shoulders and they claim they didn't do something right because that's the honorable thing to say and it shows character to accept responsibility. And make no mistake, I'm not saying they don't believe these things and that they're saying these things to simply look good. But by all accounts, they 100% feel that they know why they succeed or fail. My point is, they actually have no clue. They're just like the rest of us. You see, a simple rundown with logical deduction practices will show you that there are external forces at work here that take the results of tournament angling into a realm that is simply out of your control. The notion that you control what you can control is a sound piece of advice. But in tournament angling, the sheer number of variables outside of your control, well, they're equal to, and in most cases, far greater than the aforementioned. Therefore, there's no equation here that can predict outcomes consistently, right? In our current day and age of social media influence with the premium placed on digital content, the temptation and encouragement to produce videos and articles pulls most of those people into its tight grip. Next, a series of videos or endorsements takes place, helping us all see what equipment and techniques these folks used, to find that success. And we eat this stuff up, man, online. Our interactions fuel the creation engine to keep churning out more. But what happens when these apparent top-tier fishing experts go through all the proper routines, they rinse and repeat the same patterns for success, but they throw up a goose egg on tournament day? Well, usually we, the consumer, we feel their pain because it's happened to us. And these influencers they're out there, we simply chalk it up to one bad day, doesn't account for their overall results. We rationalize in our head that this individual has more success than failure. Therefore, there's still a better source of information than not. If that were only the truth, but it's not. The truth is the sport has scammed them and by indirect association scammed you. You see, no one will watch a video series about going out on these adventures or tournaments and putting up zeros or a couple fish caught in a 5-fish tournament format. Sure, their good friends and loyal followers will stay true and give them words of encouragement along the way, but you're not going to grow a channel like that. And you will not find new followers showing people how to stink it up on tournament day. Ask me how I know. So the only content that you see is created, produced, manufactured, are hot topics, right? It's stuff designed to promote and sell. As a consumer of this information, you do not have the full, real story. You have a story with only the highlights provided. Now, here comes the shots fired. Have you ever noticed that when a top angler goes on a hot streak, they remain extremely humble and are very grateful to everyone around them? Now, I'm not talking about the occasional win here and there. No, I'm talking about a dominating performance in a series for many years. Well, that's because they're more aware than not that something else was in play beyond their efforts. And to claim that as their own, it just feels wrong subconsciously. And the last thing just about any tournament angler wants to do is take a crap in the karma bank. Do not tempt fate when she smiles on you. That's hard coded in just about every tournament angler on the planet, without their consent, I might add. What's even more devious about this is that they don't have to suggest or say anything. Every struggling angler and hopeful dreamer out there starts the conversation for them by trying to figure out, what they did, where they went, how long they took to make those decisions, who they roomed with on the trail. Did they camp? Did they stay in an Airbnb, or a hotel by themselves? And this brings me to the next uncomfortable truth. Birds of a feather cannot alone explain the phenomena of how success seems to follow groups of anglers that share the same space. Of course, I'm talking about the highest level of our sport, but you'd be a complete, dolt to ignore the connection between that. And I'm talking from MLF to bass kayak, right? This remains true. For every decision that a tournament angler can make, there are at least two additional factors that are beyond their control. You can decide where to start your day, but you have no control over where someone else decides to also start their day, nor do you have any control over environmental variables that will decide if your decision is a fruitful one or perhaps the bed basically on tournament morning. There is no science to back up a full understanding of fish behavior at this point in every body of water that is fished out there. If there were, well, someone would have it. They'd use it and they'd retire early. You decide what baits to throw. Any angler that tells you they can choose the correct bait, color, and presentation 100% of the time is either a liar, a rookie, or simply a tournament angler on a hot streak. Fact is, again, the science is so unclear that some days the strangest thing will work, where other days the odd baits are pointless and a good old-fashioned green pumpkin Senko, gets the job done. That's part of fishing. And it's part of the process that we go through to figure things out on that given day, or more specifically, that given time of day. The best way to explain our sport, I think, is to relate it to surfing. Yes, surfing. Not golf, not any other sport that requires technical skill as its main tool. Surfing is 100% reliant on Mother Nature. I say this having never surfed and with a great deal of false confidence and from a spectator's point of view. But you see, the world's most athletic and accomplished surfer will look just like me on a calm body of water with no waves, right? They need that perfect wave to accomplish their amazing feat and to demonstrate their second to none set of skills. That is where you will see the difference between them and their peers. Without that wave, they're no different than you. The same can be said for our sport. It's not the amount of tackle, equipment, map study, but rather the quality and cooperation of outside resources that will dictate your day. Now, mind you, being prepared and executing properly must be in place. Please don't mistake my statements to say that you can, half-ass it every time and find the same results based on pure circumstantial variables. But I am saying that happens. And that's the truth. I've known countless situations over the years, and I mean countless, where anglers who have no experience on a body of water with no practice show up and walk away with a check. While those who spent the entire week there working their tails off leave with 3 fish or no fish. And they end up, blaming, bad conditions, changing conditions, sore lipping, or I overtrained for their lackluster results. Fact is, Lady Luck didn't decide to sit with you on that weekend. And as much as people in this industry don't want to admit that, she's more of a factor than anything you can control. So take heart. Yes, you've been scammed and probably have spent an embarrassing amount of money on things that, quite frankly, just don't matter at the end of the day. But still, the people that have unknowingly been scamming you, they didn't do so with malice or bad intentions. The only tragic part of this story is that you may or may not have forgotten what getting outside and fishing was all about to begin with. If you're hyper-focused on results and find yourself on game day with this competition edge where it makes it difficult for you to even talk to your fellow competitors, dude, you've lost the purpose. Try simply enjoying the outing. Try being thankful for the chance to go fishing with like-minded folks and enjoy what Mother Nature has to offer. Every day we get outside is one we should be grateful for. Do things because you love those things, not because you hope those things will deliver something back to you. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you tuning into the video here. Again, check us out on Sundays, Heroes Media Group Network here, the Double S Podcast at YouTube at Double S Podcast. Check us out. We'd appreciate you. Subscribe. Tie lines.